Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge into a whole stack of sources, pull out the really potent insights, and cut through the noise so you get truly well informed. Today our deep dive is taking us into the surprisingly rich world of natural honey. I mean, for centuries, this golden liquid hasn't just been sweet, right? It's been a cornerstone of traditional remedies all over the world. So our mission today is kind of to unlock the forgotten power of nature's oldest remedy, see how it actually holds up now, with modern science looking at it. And right off the bat, there's something really critical we need to flag. It basically underpins almost everything we're going to talk about. It's the difference between raw, unprocessed honey and, the usual refined stuff you see everywhere in supermarkets. As we dig in, you'll see why this difference. It's not just a small detail. It's absolutely vital if you want to tap into honey's real health potential.
Exactly. Our goal here is to really distill the most important findings from the sources you've given us. By the end of this deep dive, you should have a much clearer picture of why this ancient sweetener is still so fascinating to researchers and, health enthusiasts too. It goes way beyond just the taste.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. We all know honey tastes good. That's a given. But what are our sources telling us about maybe the deeper health benefits? What makes natural honey such a powerhouse, beyond just being sweet?
Well, what's truly fascinating here, and it's a key insight from our sources, is honey's remarkable antioxidant profile. We're talking about a really complex mix of compounds, things like flavonoids and phenolic acids. And what's significant isn't just what they are, but sort of how they're delivered in the honey. Research suggests this whole matrix, this natural combination, makes them highly bioavailable, maybe even more effective working together, synergistically, than if you just took them as isolated supplements. They actively fight those free radicals, those sort of unstable molecules that cause wear and tear on our cells, that contributes to oxidative stress, chronic conditions. So honey acts like a naturally optimized defense system inside your body.
And crucially, for those antioxidant benefits, the sources are really clear, aren't they? We mean raw, unpasteurized honey. Because the heat from processing, it can just degrade those delicate compounds, basically strips away the power you were just describing.
That's exactly right. Heat is the enemy of many of these beneficial components.
Okay, but here's where, for me at least, it gets really interesting. Honey doesn't just protect our cells internally. It seems like it's also a pretty tough fighter against unwanted invaders. Yeah. How does this sticky stuff manage to fight off bacteria and fungi?
Yeah, it's actually quite ingenious. Honey has these amazing antibacterial and antifungal effects. It works through a few different mechanisms working together. First, it naturally produces hydrogen peroxide, a bit like the antiseptic, right? And that's often thanks to an enzyme that's mostly found in, you guessed it, raw honey.
Ah, okay. So that enzyme gets damaged by heat too.
It often does, yes. Second, it's high osmolarity, which is just a fancy way of saying it's super high sugar concentration. It essentially sucks the water out of bacterial and fungal cells. It dehydrates them, stops them from growing. Think of it like a natural microbe desiccant. And third, it's low pH. It's quite acidic, and that creates an environment where most harmful microbes just, they can't thrive. So this multi-pronged attack, it explains why it was used historically for wound healing and why it still has potential for preventing infections. Lots of our sources point to this.
That's incredible. From literally fighting bacteria in wounds to soothing something as common as a cough. Seems like a big leap, but maybe it's not. So how exactly does honey help with those everyday things, like a scratchy throat or a nagging cough?
Well, honey is actually very effective as a natural cough suppressant and throat soother. It uses what we call demulcent properties, which basically means it coats everything. It forms the soothing protective film over irritated mucous membranes like the ones in your throat.
Like a protective layer.
Exactly. And this coating, it calms the irritation down, reduces that annoying urge to cough. It's less about a chemical zap and more like a physical comforting balm. Gives pretty immediate relief.
It's pretty amazing it gives that kind of immediate topical relief for a cough. But what about sort of deeper down, internally? Does our ancient warrior here play a role in something as basic as our digestive health?
It absolutely seems to, yes. And this is another area where, again, raw honey tends to shine. Honey has potential benefits for gut health primarily because it can act as a prebiotic.
Feeding the good guys, right.
Precisely. It provides food for the beneficial bacteria already living in your gut, and that helps contribute to a healthier microbiome overall, which, as we know now, is just fundamental to wellness. Our sources also mention its traditional use and maybe potential modern role in treating specific digestive issues, things like ulcers or maybe general indigestion. It's likely that combination, again, the soothing effect, plus those antimicrobial properties we talked about. It's not just acting on the body, it's sort of supporting the body's own healing systems.
That's pretty comprehensive for the inside. Okay, let's loop back to the outside, to topical uses. Honey isn't just for infected wounds anymore, is it? It seems like it's popping up in general skincare, tissue regeneration. How does it work there?
Right. So when you apply it topically, honey actively promotes tissue regeneration. It helps new cells grow. It also significantly reduces inflammation, which is key for any kind of healing. Plus, it's a natural humectant. That means it draws moisture into the skin and holds it there.
So it moisturizes too.
Yes. So you get this combination. Tissue growth, less inflammation, more moisture. These effects together make it really beneficial for wound healing, maybe reducing scarring, and just generally contributing to healthier skin. It's not just covering the problem, it's actively helping the healing process along.
Okay, now let's touch on something a bit more debated. This one always gets people talking. Honey for allergy relief. We need some nuance here, I think. What do the sources actually say?
Yes, nuance is definitely key here. The popular theory, the one you hear a lot, is that eating local honey might help desensitize you to local pollen, sort of like a natural, very gentle allergy shot you eat.
Right, the local pollen theory.
Exactly. But it's really crucial to understand, while that theory makes intuitive sense to many people, the actual scientific evidence backing it up is, well, it's pretty mixed right now. Some studies show basically no significant effect. Others are inconclusive, maybe methodological issues.
They're not quite proven then.
Not definitively, no. So while it's a widely believed traditional remedy, we really need more rigorous, larger-scale research to say for sure if honey works for allergy relief. It's one of those areas where we have to stick with the current state of the evidence, rather than just anecdotes.
Got it. Keep a balanced view on that one. And just quickly, for people wondering about the basic nutritional side, what's honey actually bringing to the table besides these specific actions?
Sure. Honey does contain various vitamins, minerals, amino acids, things like that. However, and this is important, they're typically present in pretty small amounts, trace amounts, often. So while they add to its unique makeup, you wouldn't really rely on honey as a primary source for, say, your daily vitamins or minerals. Its real strength lies more in those bioactive compounds we've been discussing.
Right, the antioxidants and the enzymes and so on. Okay, this has all been incredibly insightful. It really shows the depth of what honey might be capable of. But, even with natural remedies, there are always important things to consider. Caveats. What should listeners absolutely keep front of mind if they're thinking about using honey more for health?
Okay, absolutely critical points here. First, and maybe the most obvious, is moderation. It's natural, yes, but honey is still fundamentally a sugar. So it needs to be consumed in appropriate amounts as part of a balanced diet.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, and this is non-negotiable, honey is absolutely unsuitable for infants under 1 year old. This is because of the rare but very serious risk of infant botulism. Their little digestive systems just aren't developed enough yet to handle the bacterial spores that can sometimes be present, even in safe honey for adults.
Okay, under ones, absolutely no honey. Got it.
And finally, people with diabetes need to be really mindful. Honey is a sugar. It will affect blood sugar levels potentially quite significantly. They should definitely talk with their doctor or healthcare provider before making honey a regular part of their diet.
What an incredible deep dive, seriously. We've gone from ancient remedies to antioxidants, fighting infections, soothing coughs, helping the gut, regenerating skin, even touching on that tricky allergy question. And always coming back to that key point, needing raw, natural honey to really get these benefits. It really makes you look differently at that jar you probably have sitting in your cupboard, doesn't it?
It really does. And maybe that's the fascinating part to leave people thinking about. As you consider all these diverse properties, it can be an antiseptic wound dressing, but also a prebiotic for your gut. How might this ancient substance challenge your assumptions? Your ideas about what natural remedies can actually do in modern health? Perhaps it encourages us all to think, where else might simple traditional knowledge, especially when it's backed by emerging science, hold some surprising value for us today?